I'm going to continue with a couple of videos about having PAD, which is peripheral artery disease. This is my vintage Columbia bike, made in Massachusetts. Their plant used to be in Westfield, Mass. This is a 3-speed, and what I'm going to do today, as I had said in my treadle video with PAD, the man who uses and made a video about the Pinko pedometer clips the pedometer on his sneaker when he rides a bike, and I would use an odometer. This bike doesn't have an odometer, but what I also would do to begin with, and that's why I'm making this video, is do the same walking routes only on a bike. Now I'm starting with this bike in the video because this is a 3-speed, and you can benefit from my experience a little bit. I had a beautiful, I think it was also a Columbia, blue single-speed vintage bike, and the single speed was, I love them because you just go or you stop, but it became, as my leg failed, it became a little bit harder to push the pedals, and I ended up selling that bike. And then as soon as I sold that bike, one of the physical therapists said, you need to ride a bike for PAD. So they wanted me to get an exercise bike. And I have had a training stand for the back of the bike, but that's again why I'm bringing this up and making a video. For riding ease, you can think of the old English or American 3-speeds. These are the original cruiser bikes, and they are very easy to ride. And the fact that you have 3 speeds to choose from is really enough if you run into an issue and you can't get up a hill. What I often end up doing is getting off the bike and walk up the hill, or get off the bike and stand still until my legs feel better, and then get back on the bike. So a basic 3-speed is a wonderful bike to have. Now, as far as my training stand, this is what a 3-speed gear changing setup, it's not a derailleur really, looks like. It's this plastic capped shifter thing here, and that prevents you from putting a 3-speed on a bike trainer. Now, a bike trainer is really a big A-frame, and the 2 sides of the back wheel fit into the top of the A-frame, and the wheel hits a friction wheel that you can adjust and make it either easier or more difficult to ride, and it's for training. So one of the reasons I have my other bike, which is a 12-speed, is that it can fit in my training stand, and in the winter I can sit there and ride with the bike in the living room. And a lot of people do this. One of my brother-in-laws he was working on my 12-speed for me because it was still factory fresh and we couldn't get the back wheel loosened. So he came over to loosen it up, and he has a similar setup for his bike, and he doesn't even ride like all the time. So a bike trainer, they run about $50, but it's a good thing to have, in my case, for 2 reasons. One, I keep my bike in the living room, and I would think you could find enough space to just stick a bike in a corner somewhere. But the other advantage for somebody with PAD is that in the winter or in really bad weather, you hop on your bike, which you've made into an exercise bike when you put it on a trainer, and you can ride in the house. That's the 12-speed. This bike, being a 3-speed, is your basic 3-speed bike that I pointed out the other day. I have a trailer hitch on it. This is the bike my leg failed on. I had Coco in the smaller trailer attached to this, and we were riding, and my leg stopped. I could not get my leg to move a pedal. And I panicked because I couldn't put weight on my leg either. And luckily, this is why, even in a trailer, a service dog is life-saving. Coco started barking and kept barking until someone came out and helped me. So sometimes people say, well, your service dog can't mitigate anything if it's in a trailer. Yes, they can. And she did. And she saved my life that day, too, because I couldn't make it anywhere. I couldn't walk. So a basic 3-speed with PAD is what I would recommend people start with. Wear a helmet. Always wear a helmet. No matter how goofy you look or think you look, you don't look goofy. You look smart for having a helmet on. And I mean that. My brother fell when he was about 5 and hit his head. He was riding his Stingray and fell, and he almost died. Just wear the helmet. And what I'm going to do today is kind of reenact what that guy with the other video was doing. I haven't put an odometer on here yet, and because this bike can't be hooked up to a trainer because of the 3-speed, this, I've been looking at it as the outdoor bike, with the other bike mainly being the indoor bike. But I'm changing that a little bit, and I have the smaller trailer can hook up to this one. The larger trailer, which is right here, can hook up to the other bike, which also goes with the amount of speed changes I may need. And you have to think like this. So here I am, there are days I can't walk, and yet I'm making sure I have a bike and a trailer to include in my exercise plan. So what I'm going to do today, and I'm not going to try to video it while I'm riding a bike, I'm going to keep my hands on the handlebars. I'm going to take this bike on my walking route, and I'm going to put the Pingo pedometer on my sneaker and see what it comes up with for steps. I already know that it should be about 900 steps, and we'll see what it comes up with for steps. But probably in a little while I'll buy an odometer for this bike and have an odometer on each of the bikes. And then I'll probably hook up an odometer on the treadle, because an indoor bike and the treadle on some days may be all I can do. So it's another aspect that you have to think about. Not really worst case scenarios, but what are you comfortable exercising with? And the only other thing I'd mention right now is that I take the dog out early in the morning, like 5:30. Believe it or not, we actually run into people and dogs at 5:30 in the morning. Then I come home and eat and build up some calories before I go on my walk, or in this case, my ride. So this is like an overall health awareness that can easily fit into your lifestyle. So we'll see what the pedometer says after I take a ride on the bike. I'm ready to go. I'm still going to do most of the outdoor stuff in the morning while it's hot out. Here's the Pinko pedometer. Those are my steps right now, 836. So, you see how it adds up? It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, sometime around there. And I've already walked 800 steps. And that's just with taking the dog for a walk, and I didn't take him too far. And doing stuff around the house. So 836 steps. I'm going to clip it on my sneaker. Just like that. And because this is stride length, this bike has a 29-inch measurement from the pedal to the seat. My stride length is 26. You would think it would line up almost evenly, and we should see about 1,700 steps when I come back. This is much faster, obviously. I'm almost at the top of one of the hills, and I had to stop just about the same place I have to stop when I'm walking, a little bit further. There's more strain on your knees with a bike. I just saw a rabbit. I was sitting next to the road, a little baby rabbit. But I stopped for another reason. I took the easier incline, and I'm feeling the pain in my around my knees and more or less the front of my legs, instead of my lower legs, instead of in the calves. So that will probably get easier the more often I ride a bike. Okay, I'm back. The camera blipped out there for a second. 1044. So this is not the same as walking. Obviously, I went up a hill and then down a hill. And down the hill, you're not moving your legs, you're coasting. But, so this only added about 200 steps for a walk around the, ride around the block. That should be 900 steps. So, as I had said in my treadle video, it doesn't quite equate walking as far as how many steps. It's the same distance in miles. I think it's probably a quarter of a mile. And that is one of the other reasons to have an odometer on a bike. And with miles maybe being the common denominator between odometers and pedometers, and not steps. I'm trying to take my helmet off. This is a Bell helmet, which is a good brand, and I've had this one for a long time. Easy to do, a big accomplishment for me, much faster than walking, but not the same number of times moving my legs in a walking manner. So, like the treadle, this is a supplemental exercise for me.